Hello and welcome to ATech Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing an IM that has been generating a lot of hype lately, which is the Hisenior Mega5est, the limited edition 7th anniversary, something like that. So I don't know what's exactly the difference between the regular edition and the limited edition, so this is the version I have. This version is brand new, and we'll take a look at it. Before I describe the sound and do a quick comparison, I will take a look to tell you what's in the box. The first thing I notice is this comes with like what looks like similar to a Pelican case. It's a very hard case, and it's very actually quite protective. It has this zipper here that you can put things inside, and it has this foam lining to protect your IMs and ear tips. And I think here you can even throw a dongle or two or three, or even a small dab, to be honest. It's a really, like you can see, it's a really strong. It's like a really strong case. Unfortunately, it's not exactly portable. Like I could see if you're going to ashore something to put a few IMs here, it will be very protective. But it's not exactly going to sit on anyone's desk probably, or in your pocket. But I like the idea. They say it's waterproof. I like the protection. Next thing is it comes with a very good actually set of ear tips. Not the best. I use my own, but I like that they like give you like a few options. You get these silicone ear tips with a specific diameter. Um, some of them are narrow bore, some of them are wide bore, as you can see here. Um, okay, like I think most of them are wide bore in here. These ones are the narrow bore. These are the 3.9, and they give you like 6 pairs, 3 sizes. That's good enough in my book. But then you get to the foam, and they like give you 2 pairs only at medium size. Anyway, I don't think anyone will be using this with foam. I will explain why later. And then you get a good like cleaning cloth, and you get this like crocodile like clip shirt holder, so something like that. Anyway, that's nice. And then we get to the ear shells themselves, and you before I talk about that, I will talk about the cable quickly. I love this cable. It's a really they call it white whale cable. You can see a picture of a whale here. Supposedly, they say it costs like $96. So that's the way it is. I don't know exactly why, but it's a high quality cable. The material feels good. It doesn't tangle. Minimal tangling, of course. No memory, and it feels smooth to the touch. It's flexible. It's soft. I kind of like the way it feels. It feels premium. The only complaint I will have about it is that it doesn't come with like changeable interchangeable termination plugs like 3.5 and 4.4, which honestly it's kind of expected at this price. Like this costs $550, and most of the competition offers that right now. So that's just my opinion. Like personally, if I'm paying money at this, I would love to see that, but we don't usually do. So that's not a big problem or an issue. Anyway, I suggest if you buy it, you get a 4.4 because you can change it to 3.5, but you cannot do the opposite. So that's just my recommendation. Then we get to the ear shells themselves. And minor note here, the 2-pin doesn't have like a clasping mechanism. So every time I put it in my ear and get it out, you can see there's a gap here where it enters, and I have to like click it here for this gap to go away. This is normally not a problem. It didn't disconnect or cause any disconnections or anything like that. But over the long term, maybe you have to be careful with them, as it could cause like connector stress or cable damage and ear connector damage or something like that. Anyway, it's a minor issue. It's not a complaint or anything like that. The earpieces themselves, they look very wonderful. I love the way they look. Actually, it has here like an acronym FABOS, which means like feel the beauty of sound. Anyway, I think the font is beautiful. It looks great. If you can get the color, it is probably, I would describe it as gray with a hint of dark blue, if the camera can pick that up. And it has like small glitter like shine and sparkle on it. Honestly, it looks premium. It's very simple, like a simple color, but it looks wonderful. Nozzle size is actually on the average size of things. It's not a complaint. It's a bit slightly long, but not a complaint at all. And there's a huge vent here. You can see that. and that actually leads to average sound isolation, passive sound isolation, perhaps even below average, which means if I wear this in my ears, I notice that I can hear sounds outside my ear more than I hear with regular IMs, if you kind of get what I mean. Anyway, that is the description here. Now let's talk about the sound, and I'll start with the tonality. What is the sound signature of the 7th anniversary Hisenior Mega5est limited edition? It's a 1DD, 2BA, 2EST, like the Moondrop variations, I think. And the tonality or the sound signature I pick up with my ears when I listen to it is it's a warm tuning, leaning slightly dark, like having a slight dark tonality. That's how I would describe it. Let's start with the bass. The bass is actually the best part of this IM, in my personal opinion. It's the standout feature. It's the biggest impact. It is the biggest like frequency response emphasis that you see. No matter what you're listening to with this IM, there is like an undertone or a background emphasis on the bass. No matter what you're listening to, there is like a tone of the bass. Like even if I'm watching videos, I'm listening to people talk, there is like this undertone of the bass going on in the background. It's like, and it's kind of enjoyable, delightful. The bass has a good slam, has a good impact. It is punchy, but it's not as detailed as I would like it to be. It doesn't have that incisiveness to the notes. The attack is not there. You know what I mean? The incisiveness of the bass, the sharpness, the texture, it is there, but not at honest. I'm being honest here. It's not at the level I expect or I see from the competition at this price. But on the other hand, what it leads to is a very laid back, kind of like comfortable, like bass performance and a sound signature overall. That's the way I feel it. I think the bass, there's a small amount of bass bleed that goes on to the lower mid range, more than I usually like to, because the problem, not a problem, but there is something here in the lower mid range specifically, and actually the whole mid range, lower and upper, is a bit, I would not call it recessed, but it's a bit laid back more than usual. Like it's, I would even say it is a bit pulled back. Not sure why, but it's okay. It's not bad or anything. I just feel that I have to raise the volume on my amplifier to hear more of the vocals. And you kind of understand now when I say the bass kind of exacerbates that, because it has a lot of bass and there's a small amount of bass bleed, which kind of covers the already laid back vocals. So it's like making the vocals more difficult to perceive or to differentiate from the other sound frequencies. Other than the vocals, even the instruments, I find I'm perceiving the, let's say for example an acoustic guitar and there's a drum kicks in the background, I'm perceiving the drum kicks with the bass of the drum kicks, I'm perceiving the cymbals, but when it comes to the notes of the acoustic guitar, I feel them, they're so much in the background that I am focusing and struggling to perceive them. That's just my personal opinion. A laid back sound signature is a wonderful thing also. It's not something bad, but if you're looking for that vocal forwardness like I do, or clarity, you will not find it here. In terms of male and female vocals, they sound very good. They sound clear and clean, but as I said, there is an overshadowing. Like if you divide the mid-range into the lower and upper, from the lower mid-range you'll find that it's a bit overshadowed by the power of the bass, you know, and then the mid-range is pulled back, so you don't get that effect that you usually get when the vocals are forward. And when we move to the upper mid-range, it's again pulled back, so you hear everything, it's clean and clear, but again, it's a bit laid back. It's not in the center, it's not the star of the show here. It's a bit pulled back, which makes it a bit more comfortable, but you know, it's a preference kind of thing. If you like vocal forwardness like me, then it's not there. So that's just my opinion. Another thing that exacerbates this thing is when you move on to the treble. As I said, it has a darker tonality. It doesn't have the greatest like treble extension. It is there, but there's EST drivers, which give us a lot of clarity and a lot of detail, but it doesn't give it the sense of air usually that you get from other IMs, or the sense of sparkle, or stuff like that. It's a bit, as I said, laid back, um, and the treble is not the emphasis here. Um, that's just my opinion. It is there. There is clarity. There is extension. I hear the cymbals. I hear everything. But it's not. It sounds dark, slightly dark, but doesn't give me that sense of air I usually get. So another thing I noticed, there is a small hint of sibilance. I'm not sure exactly where it's coming from. I'm just like you. When I look at the graph, I don't see it. But when I say it in this video, I reviewed it a lot of times. I listened to it. There is a hint there, and it's only in the S letter. It's not found anywhere else. Not sharp. Again, it's not in everything I listen to. I'm being honest here, but it is constant. It's there. Like I'm watching just people having interviews on YouTube, and I'm picking that sound. I'm watching other videos, I'm picking that sound. I'm watching videos, I'm picking that sound. Listening to music, when the vocals are close to the mic and they're speaking the S letter, I perceive it. When they're not close to the mic, it's gone back. It's definitely interesting, and I think it's a treble thing because, as I said, the midrange is pulled back. So anyway, that's what I think about it. Overall, it's a minor issue. As I said, it's a hint of sibilance. It's not strong sibilance. It's a hint, but it's there with many things. Other than that, when you listen to something comfortable, it's comfortable. I tried different ear tips. These are not my favorite ear tips. These are the ones that came with. I use my own. I tried 6 different types. Thank you very much. I tried the foam. So that's not definitely an issue. I even changed amps and decks, but maybe it's my sensitivity. I'm treble sensitive myself, so maybe that's the case. But again, I think it will not bother anyone. It's just a minor issue, as I said. Now, moving on to the soundstage and the imaging. Soundstage, I would describe it as average. That's my opinion, and done. Rarely will I say an IM has a really wide soundstage, because very few do. Most IMs have an average or an intimate soundstage, and this one has an average, has a good amount of space and width, and even a bit of depth. I'm not going to say no, it has a bit of depth, but just average, not like other wider IMs, but better than intimate IMs. In terms of imaging, there is imaging, but it's not as clear again as other IMs. And this is because of the dark, slightly dark tonality it has, and because of the warm tuning it has, and because of the bass. The bass gives you also an imaging, so it depends on the frequency. In terms of the bass gives you good imaging. Drum kicks, yeah, I can hear them here, I can hear them here, I can hear them here. But other things like vocals, instruments, the imaging is not 10/10. Like I kind of find myself struggling sometimes to localize where exactly the sound is coming from. Spatial cues from the treble are there, but again, slightly covered up. It's like you have to raise the volume to get it. So that's my description. Technicalities and detail retrieval, average at best. That is also something, but again, it's not bad. All of what I'm saying leads in the end to a very comfortable listening experience. So you kind of get that. But comparing it to other IMs, especially at this price range at 100-550, I usually see much better technicalities, much better detail retrieval without sounding harsh. Like when you get to $500, this is a level where you pay money and you find IMs that give you technicalities, give you detail, and you shouldn't get any harshness or sibilance or shoutiness. So it's usually something that is welcome and you shouldn't complain about it, but I didn't find that here. Technicalities are average. As I said, it's not bad, but it's not a detailed IM. And again, it falls below. Like actually, I would go on so far and make a statement that would be controversial, and I will say even the Dusk has much better technicalities than this one. And today I listened to the Blessing 3, and I would say that the Blessing 3 has much better technicalities than the Hisenior Mega5est. It's a big statement. Detail is not everything. It's a preference thing. So I'm telling you what I hear with my ears so that you can decide if this IM is for you or not. Like ultimately, the joy of the music, the preference that we like a music or no, or we sit with an IM and enjoy it, is not depending on the detail or whatever. It's just if you like it or not. And I think it's a very enjoyable sound experience. So now in this segment, I will compare it quickly to the Moondrop variations and the SA6 Mark II, which I have here. And I will talk first about the Moondrop variations. I listened to the Moondrop variations today. I gave them a very, very good listen along with the Blessing Tree, and I did a very good comparison here. Overall, like I will say, the cable. Let's start with builds because you're paying money, you kind of get your money's worth. That's really important. I think the cable here is much better on the Hisenior, but I don't think you get the interchangeable cable plug, which is kind of expected at this price. I think the Moondrop wins here, and I think even the Dunu SA6 wins here. They give you that, like I think the cable of the Dunu SA6 is the best one out of them all, and the Q-Lock system of the Dunu is just heaven, man. It's the best interchangeable plug system you can ever get, period, in my opinion. Um, but I think the cable quality on the Dunu SA6 is number one, followed by the Hisenior, and then the variation. I don't like the cable of the Moondrop variations itself, but it has the interchangeable plug system, which makes it nice, and I kind of like that. Speaking of the build, as I said, when you get to the 2-pin connector here, this is like a flush connector. It's not really the best kind of safety-wise and protection-wise compared to the competition. But if you look here, the Duno has that excellent recessed. It has this like clamping holding mechanism so that it holds the cable. The Moondrop variations also has that mechanism, so that's something also a minor issue, but it's like something as a difference in the build quality and the longevity and so on. The Duno gives you a bass toggle. It's a small boost, usually no one cares about that. In terms of the sound, I have to say, if I compare this to variations, my personal preference, I prefer the Moondrop variations, and by a large margin. Why is that? Well, the Moondrop variations has, first of all, much better sub-bass response. The sub-bass performance, the rumble, and the clarity and detail is way above the Hisenior Mega5est. Another thing is the bass, mid-bass clarity, texture, and definition. Again, it is higher than the Mega5est. It is higher in quantity, but it stops where it should be. Like, I don't feel that the bass of the Moondrop variations carries over to the lower mid-range in a way that makes them feel muddy or a way that makes them feel overly thick. That's just my opinion. I feel it's greater in amount it gives me when I listen to EDM. It gives me that thing, that feeling, the slam, the thump. When hip-hop music, it gives me that power. But when I go to the lower mid-range, there is a nice separation. It drops off, and the lower mid-range is not accentuated. It's not anything. It's just smooth. Male vocals sound natural. They have the thickness. It just sounds perfect. Another thing is the Moondrop variations has a more forward vocals. It's not pulled back like the Hisenior, so I get the male and excellent female vocal presentation that I like. Like, details are in the front. I can hear the voices clearly. If there is instruments like guitars or cello or whatever, even trumpets, they're at the front. I can hear the instruments. They're not covered by the bass. So that is kind of the difference here. And in my opinion, the treble is excellent. It's not as dark. There is a bit more air. There's a bit more sizzle. There's a bit more of a sparkle and pop. And at the same time, the detail retrieval is, again, a step above the Hisenior Mega5est. So it's like two different tonalities completely. Like, the Moondrop variations is an excellent harmony tuned, and I find it almost perfect. It ranks very highly, and I really love it. It's one of my references. It's really an all packaged excellent IM that lacks almost nothing, in my opinion. Like, the only difference between that and the higher end IMs is more detail and instrument separation and soundstage. That's it. Imaging, maybe. So tonality wise, it is perfect, in my opinion. So it's a matter of preference. If I compare it to the SA6, not many people like the SA6. It's just kind of like a love or hate relationship people have. If you like it, you like it. If you don't prefer it, you don't prefer it. We all have our preferences, sensitivities, and ear anatomies. I love the SA6 MKII, to be honest. It has a bit of a U shape, but it's never harsh. It has a lot of air, a lot of technical details. Soundstage is very wide. Imaging is pinpoint accurate. Honestly, it's a step above, and the only problem, in my opinion, it has is because it's an all BAIM. Even though it has that BA woofer they say it has, it can never have the bass, slam, and impact a good dynamic driver will give you. No matter what they do with the BA, the woofer, it's not a woofer, I don't care. It's never gonna get that effect you get with a dynamic driver. So that's why we see brands now are moving on to the one dynamic driver, and then they add the BAs, because BAs cannot give you. It's just physics, you know. The driver doesn't move like a dynamic driver. Like, right? We talk dynamic because of movement. BAs don't move. That's why the BAs are not vented. BAIMs. So that's the only thing that makes me feel the SA6 MK2 lacks. That's the base thing. Other than that, the tuning is spot on. I love it. It's just like the QDC and only VX with even more air. It's just awesome. And I think in terms of detail retrieval, it's like 5 steps above the Mega5est. So detail retrieval is not everything. I just want you to know the difference, because when I listen to this and oh my god, the difference is night and day. But again, detail is not everything. There's also tonality, there is tuning, so there's preference. So that's it. That's it, guys. This has been my review. Do I recommend this set? Before I finish, I want to say, who do I recommend this set for? If you are a person, which I find some people telling me that they don't like the Harman tuning, like they're sensitive to the upper mids. Some people tell me they find it shouty. If you're a person who finds Harman shouty, or you don't like the Harman curve, or you want to try another preference curve, I think the seventh Hisenior Mega5est is an excellent choice for you. Another thing is, if you like laid back IMs and you're not actually like craving detail, you just want good bass and you don't care if the vocals are laid back, you just want to sit back, relax, enjoy your music. It has good bass, it's fun, and it's something that you'll listen to and you will enjoy, then I recommend the Mega5est. And number three, actually, it's very, I will go to say it's a very good reason to do that. If you're going to get a custom IM and you want to get one for $550, I don't know a lot of options that offer that. So if you want to get this IM as custom, it is an option. It is an option. So that is also makes it something great. Do I recommend it? As I said, for the aforementioned reasons, I do. If you understand what you're getting into, how will I rank it? Based on the current competition and stuff like that, I would say I would give it a 4 out of 5, 8 out of 10. That's just my opinion. For you, maybe you can give it 10 over 10. It's definitely not a hype, and it's definitely not bad or average. It's very good tuning, but I don't think it's like, oh, the best IMs and stuff like that. No, I think it's just very good, excellent IM that gets like above average, like thumbs up from me. But for my personal preference, I know I have other options. Like I would take the Moondrop variations. I still has more the sub bass, more vocal clarity, more vocal forwardness, and more detail retrieval with an interchangeable cable. That's my preference, but an excellent choice. If I have them, I will enjoy them. I will not be sad at all. I will just try to search for more detail retrieval. That's how my brain works. Anyway, that's the review of the Mega5est. Let me know if you have any questions down in the comment, and until next time, see you guys. Bye.